O come, Emmanuel, God with us. St. Francis of Assisi is credited with inventing the Christmas crib. In his dark world where many people were illiterate, the Holy Family figurines, shepherds and animals, and even richly clothed wise men entranced churchgoers with the wonder of the Christmas story. And still today, many of our churches have nativity scenes with wise men who come closer to the crib as the traditional 12 days of Christmas unfold. I think I've got 3 crib sets in my house and one here in the registry as well. It's too many, really. I was deeply moved by a photograph of the Christmas crib set up in the sanctuary of the Lutheran Church in Jerusalem this year. In place of hay-filled stable, the baby Jesus is resting on the top of a pile of broken concrete, shattered bricks and dust. There are no animals or shepherds. Mary and Joseph are not in the scene either. The baby is alone, surrounded by the signs of hopeless despair and lifeless destruction. Each night on the TV news, we see this scene depicted in the terrible mayhem and destruction in Gaza. In place of the angelic chorus is the sound of missile sirens. The guiding star has been replaced by drones carrying explosives. And instead of the lowing cattle and the silent adoration of the shepherds, are the tears and groans of the wounded and those who've lost their loved ones on both sides of the conflict. We wait for the wise men to come, bringing peace from the United Nations or the Arab states or the North American power brokers. But instead, we get political posturing. O come, Emmanuel, God with us. We dare not retreat into a warm sentimentality about the Nativity as we see how the Holy Land is being torn apart by the machinations of international power politics and by the internal self-destruction that has plagued this part of our world for centuries. Whether we have pro-Palestinian or pro-Zionist attitudes, it's so easy to slip into othering people who do not share our views. Slogans and easy judgments based on simplistic history and facile politics only add to the confusion, frustration, death and apparent impasse of the current war between the Israeli state and the Palestinians trapped in Gaza. This context is not so different from the context of the first Christmas. Ordinary people were squeezed by the massive forces of occupying Roman soldiers, the corruption and self-indulgence of puppet rulers, small underground resistance fighters, we'd call them terrorists today, and sectarian religious leadership that was deeply divided. And yet this is the very place where God chose to make his great appeal of love, compassion and forgiveness. And this is still the message that resonates through the Holy Land and to the rest of God's world. O come, Emmanuel, God with us. God's call to us, this and every Christmas, always comes to us from a broken place which seems to be on the edge of despair. This place is not just first century occupied Judea or even today's war-torn Gaza territory, but every place in our hearts and lives where we are tempted to easy judgments, to dismiss those we don't understand by labelling them as other, by hurting those whom we should love the best, our families and friends. The Christmas message is always a call to forgiveness, love and compassion, a call to encounter hope once again. It's a big ask, isn't it? A big challenge to proclaim hope, a challenge in a seemingly hopeless war-ravaged Gaza, in Ukraine, and even in the little messes of our individual lives. It's always easier to label, to other, to despise, to hate, to blame, to belittle. God invites us every Christmas to hear and believe again in the possibility of hope, a hope based on God's promise at Bethlehem, goodwill and peace among all people. This is a hope that does not depend on our frail faith, but on God's commitment to us. O come, Emmanuel, God with us. Our Christmas celebration, then, is never just a sentimental remembrance of a longed-for past, or a comforting retelling of the nativity story. It's a celebration of God's commitment to us, to all people, and to God's world. It's an invitation for us to be people of hope, even amidst the shattered concrete, the broken bricks, and the dust of despair. For these are the very places where Jesus, the Emmanuel, comes, where God is with us. May we always have the courage to be Christmas people, people of forgiveness, compassion, and love, people who have glimpsed hope and who pray for and work for and speak about and experience hope in a God who is always with us. May you have a happy and holy Christmas.